Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Today we will be talking about an important day in terms of the semi-finals. Of course, there was India versus Scotland, and then there was New Zealand versus Namibia. Let's start with India versus Scotland, and then we'll get back to the New Zealand versus Namibia game as well. Before we get started about the analysis, I just want to put one thing straight out there. There will be a lot of stupid talk. There will be a lot of things on Twitter. There will be a lot of these bhakts who will be talking. तो इनला क्या कर रहे मुस्ती मेरे को एक चीज समझाओ इनला क्या कर रहे इनला क्रिकेटरों को एक्टरा बना रहे वो एक्टिंग कर रहे बोल रहे एक्टरों को क्रिमिनल बोल के जेल में डाल रहे राइट क्रिमिनल आए वो बोल के जेल में डाल रहे एंड देन फाइनली जो रियल के क्रिमिनल आए हैं जो वहां पे ऊपर ऊपर में बैठे हुए हैं वो इन लोगों की मार रहे वो हो रहा है यहाँ पे दैट्स ऑल दैट्स हैपनिंग द रियल क्रिमिनल्स आर सिटिंग एंड दे आर बना रहे उन लोगों की. So that is something that I just want to clear. What is going on with that? I just focus on the cricket. Even I'm getting derailed obviously, but I just want to put that thought out there. Okay, ऐसा हो रहा. But let's get back to the cricket. A solid performance, the kind of performance that we expect India to have. It's Scotland, the minnow team. It'll be realistic, This is something that if India would have beaten Pakistan or New Zealand, and if they would have had this kind of performance, no one would bat an eyelid. Just because they lost those two, and now it's become a situation where they need a big win to win. And now everyone's talking about all these kind of things. But anyway, solid performance, good bowling, good batting, good fielding, like proper professional performance. Take the run rate out of the way. Now, if Afghanistan beats New Zealand, if they beat Namibia, they go through. Simple as that.
Oof. There's a lot to take in. I actually a much better position than I thought because when I entered the stadium, you told me that New Zealand were winning by a big rate. I was watching that game, but then towards the end, you told me the wickets left, and I checked the score, and I thought this game I'm gonna enjoy it, and that's it. I didn't know until I left the ground that India's net run rate is above thing. I was just enjoying the game. It was beautiful to watch. I had a good view, a brilliant bowling performance. To be honest, watching Bumrah bowl from behind the bowlers, just outstanding, beautiful pace. Shami, that Yorker he bowled, I caught it on video. I don't know if you saw that, but
I saw it.
What a delivery that was. And Jadeja, I think these are the pitches which suit these kind of finger spinners, Jadeja, Ashwin, because it's getting slow now. There is turn, and these bowlers will get more effective. If this was the beginning of the tournament, it would have been a bit more difficult. We saw Jadeja not being he was getting picked easily. Also, Scotland's record against spin has not been that great, so that was also in India's advantage. But India did what they were expected to do. For me, they had to finish the game between 6 to 10 overs. They did it in 6 and a bit, and a wonderful performance. I didn't know Rahul got it to his 50 and 19 balls. That was quick, but every ball was going for 6. And there's a flick that he played that was just world class to watch. And Rohit Sharma, you could see both of them. They were looking to smash it. They took one ball each, and then that's it. From the first over itself, they went for it. They knew they had to finish it early, and now it's not in their hands. But from the situation that they're in, they made the best possible outcome.
Absolutely, I think it was a proper dominant performance. It was just swashbuckling batting, perfect bowling, not a lot to fault for at all, and this is what we know India can do. Scotland, on the other hand, I thought, it doesn't really, they weren't really a competition in this. They were never really in the reckoning for making any kind of playoff spot or anything at all. At most, they were going to be a party pooper. Obviously, that didn't happen today. I think with due respect, I think one of the poorest teams, I think, along with Bangladesh, that Scotland have been in the Super 12 that have come out of this tournament. I think that they've not really shown as much as they would, but this is a very good experience for them. There are players over there that they can bank on. There are some good experiences that they get, to be able to face Varun Chakravarti, Rashid Khan, Ashwin. They don't do this in Scotland on a daily basis, and they're never going to get that kind of experience as long as they do this. So they have some players that they can do this experience. Will do them a world of good. Get back to the drawing board. Through 1 year of hard work, come back next year because they already qualified for next year. So come back next year and just try and better their performance from this year.
Yeah, and also, losing the toss, it makes a big difference. They're already on the back foot. When they're batting, the wicket was sticky a bit initially, and after that, the spin. I think playing against spin, India did a really good move by playing 3 spinners, and that really dragged Scotland down. But there's 2 players, Leask and Munshi. They're very talented players. Munshi, the way he hit Bumrah for a 6. That was a brilliant shot. I've seen him in the GT20 live as well. He's a talented batsman. I think they have some talented players. Also, these conditions are not easy for them. They're not familiar with these conditions.
Yeah.
If this was in England or in somewhere else in that area, then I think they would have done even better. But honestly, it's been a good learning curve from them. They've learned a lot. They're playing New Zealand, India. Now they're going to play Pakistan. So they're playing some top quality sides, and they'll only improve from here. Same with Namibia. These sides will improve. We saw Scotland give New Zealand a run for their money. So I think it's a learning curve, and not too much to worry about. They're playing against a wounded India side who really they were desperate to play aggressive, and things fell right in India's favor. And they were always going to be under the pump. They were going to go over aggressive India. They lost 2 wickets. Maybe if the run rate was an issue, they would have won by 10 wickets. But the way they were attacking and the way they were bowling, they were looking to finish this game off early, and they were pumped. Virat Kohli was pumping the crowd. They were singing "Happy Birthday" during the game, after the game, before the game, and he kept pumping the crowd as well. They knew that India knew that they had to get the job done early, and that's exactly what they did.
Absolutely. There was just one small thing that I noticed in the post-match. Virat Kohli said, "There's not much I want to talk about this performance because this is an expected performance from us." That hits the nail on the coffin for me, because I think that they expect this kind of performance from India, and I've been saying it from the start of our podcast as well. This is just normal business resume for India. Your man of the match.
It's between Jadeja and Shami. I think both were brilliant. Let's just see the economy rate. Jadeja's 3.75. So let's give
exactly
it to
same. 3 for 15, 3 for 15. So
is it? But I think
Shami bowled 1 over less.
Oh yeah, 1 over less. So Jadeja's economy is better. So let's give it to Jadeja. But I think it's good to see these guys in form. And Shami, what everyone's saying about him? He's giving his all, his best for the team, right? Like anyone could have taken this game lightly, but they all were pumped up. They knew that there's more at stake than just beating Scotland, and everyone was pumped up. Watching Shami bowl and Bumrah as well, excellent pace, good change-ups as well. I was behind them this time, so I was watching the release. That ball Bumrah bowl, man, that cutter, I think to get the first wicket was fantastic. And even Shami, they have very subtle variations, but very smart as well. And Jadeja as well. For me, he's the man of the match. He bowled really well. Some stick. I also mentioned that you can't rely him on as the fifth bowler. You need to have a part-time bowler there. But in these kind of games, Jadeja just rips through you, especially if he gets assistance, and then he's playing against a team who doesn't play spin too well. So Jadeja will always run through you, and I think he was the reason why they were just chasing 80 odd.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. That wraps up the game for India versus Scotland. Let's go to New Zealand versus Namibia. A quick analysis on that front as well. New Zealand was in a spot of bother with only 4 overs to go. They were at 96 for 4. It could have very easily been a 120, 130 kind of a game, and it could have gotten tricky. But in comes Daryl Mitchell and Jimmy Neesham, and they come in and just swashbuckling in the end, 65 or 66, I think it was, of the last 4, and a proper performance. And after that, Namibia never really looked in it after that.
Yeah, those last 4 overs just turned the game in New Zealand's favor, and this is you have to laud this team. Like in these conditions, no matter what the situation is, they have someone who steps up. And today it was Glenn Phillips and Neesham. They batted brilliantly. They finished off the game literally, but there was still work to do. The bowlers did a fantastic job as well. I think Namibia got off to a good start with the bat too, but New Zealand brought it back. Sadi is so experienced, bowled, all these guys bowling really well. And with the bat, the likes of Williamson struggled. Guptill, a good start, but even one way again, a few boundaries here and there, he struggled as well. And but it's good to see that the lower order finished it off, and they're looking in good form now. And against Afghanistan, I consider New Zealand favorites, although that Afghanistan is a really good spin lineup, and they're playing in Sharjah. New Zealand have already played in Sharjah today, and they'll know what the conditions are. And Williamson, his field placement, his captaincy is so good, man. He's just outstanding. Again today, after they got a good start, no nerves. He made the bowling changes. He did the field placements. He knew that after the power play it's going to get tougher to bat on. So he got his spinners in. He placed the fielders exactly in the right places, and they won the game comfortably. And credit to them. Right now, the fate is in their hands. I think they're in a much better position than India is. Although they will feel the pressure. Now they know that they have to beat Afghanistan. Afghanistan is going to be a tricky side in Sharjah, but I just feel the experience that they have, and also the fact that they played 2 games here. I would only say that now I think Afghanistan will be a touch tougher than these other two opponents. So that's the only thing there.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. I think Afghanistan won't be a pushover to be with any such an imagination.
Yeah.
But if New Zealand comes out and just goes at them all guns blazing like India did in the last game, I think that they have the scope to convincingly beat them. And like you said, it's in their hands. But the pressure is on now, that because they know that they can't afford a goof up here, because they know that India is going to beat Namibia. That's not a question that is any, like, I mean, of course anything can happen in cricket, but it's very simple for India to beat Namibia. There's no run rate pressure. There's nothing at all. They even the last ball, that doesn't matter at all anymore. So all New Zealand needs to do is go out there, win the game, cement their place in the top two, and carry on from there.
Yeah, that's all they have to do, and it's not going to be easy. But I think under the leadership, they do have, they still have weaknesses. New Zealand team, I don't think that they can win the World Cup. If they do, this is just a fabulous achievement. Like, and credit has to go to Williamson and everybody else. They have some very experienced fast bowlers there, but just a couple of keys. I think Conway's form, that's a bit of a worry for me, and that third bowler to back up. Ferguson is going to be missed. I know Milne is there; he's doing a good job. But I think that might be an issue. But positive is Guptill. He's looking good. He's giving the starts. And, on a good pitch, when they're chasing with some dew there, Guptill is going to be a handful. Now he's getting used to the conditions. He always struggled in UAE in India, but now he's getting used to the conditions. He's batting well. I think playing more cricket here, he's learning more, and I think he's understanding it a bit more. He's giving them the right starts. Today he couldn't capitalize, but I think that 90 from the last game will give him a lot of confidence. And Williamson is someone that he'll always rotate the strike. And also the spinners, the bowling looks good because of the spinners as well. Sodhi and Satner a bit different, so they're going to give Afghanistan a tough fight for sure. And I'm considering New Zealand favorites, even though Afghanistan victory will light me up with a big smile.
Absolutely, and that makes two of us, and hopefully we'll be talking about a different tone on Sunday. But before we go there, your man of the match for today's game.
Man of the match, I'm going to give it to Glenn Phillips. I think, he's domestically, he's shown that he has the goods. Even in New Zealand conditions, he's shown he has the goods. But today he played a proper T20 innings. He finished off the innings properly. 3 sixes, very nice sixes. And, he gave New Zealand exactly what they wanted. Very good strike rate, very healthy strike rate. And New Zealand have a couple of finishes in them. That's another positive from this game. I think, apart from their bowling and their top order now, their finishers are coming to play. And that's a big positive for them. So for me, it's Glenn Phillips.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Moving on to tomorrow's games. Some interesting games in terms of Group A, because there's still a decision to be made on position 2. We have Australia versus West Indies, and then we have the harder game, I would say, which is the England versus South Africa. Your predictions for Australia versus West Indies. Let's start with that first.
West Indies. I think they've had a very poor tournament. They'll want to finish well, and it looks unlikely. But I'm just going West Indies. And also make that group a bit spicy, because if South Africa win, Australia lose, it'll be tied on points.
No, they're tied on points right now.
It's tied on points right now. But if Australia lose and South Africa lose, okay. But still, if they both lose, then they'll go net run rate. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting news. But Australia are favorites. If you look at it matchup wise, their openers are back in form, especially Finchie is looking good. Their bowling, Zampa is bowling outstandingly well. And that's the difference. You need to have a leg spinner. West Indies don't have that. Bangladesh don't have that. India, they have a mystery spinner there. It's working, but leg spinner is a must, and I think Zampa will be the X factor. And their batting looks good. If Finch and Warner can get off the starts like that, then you have Maxwell there, you have Smith to rotate the strike, you have Stoinis. Batting looks very good. And Hazelwood bowls that line in length. I think Cummins and Stark look a bit off color, but once they also get into the groove, they're wicket takers. This Australian team has a lot of experience, and they've been a bit inconsistent, but I think I still like their team on paper.
I agree. I think that this is a solid team, no doubt about that. West Indies, your prediction of West Indies is a little tricky, but I would go West Indies and England just to make it spicy. But if that's the case, then Australia just need to make sure that they lose by a close margin, because they have a better run rate right now. So as long as they can take it deep, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and West Indies have a good record against Australia as well in T20 World Cups in the past. So that's also another factor. But then you have to take conditions into account and everything. So it's just not been their tournament, but just hoping on some history.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 100%, no doubt about that. It's going to be fun. Your prediction is England as well? England, West Indies as well?
South Africa? No, I'm going South Africa.
Oh,
I think
nice.
this is going to be England's biggest test just because of the bowling that South Africa have, and especially if South Africa bowl first. Is this game in Sharjah? Even if it is in Sharjah, then even if they bat for South Africa, I think for England this is going to be a big test. The likes of Rabada, Nokia, then Shamsi, Maharaj, they're going to be at them constantly. Then Pretorius also picks up wickets, so it's going to be a big challenge for the England top order and middle order. I know Butler and Roy have been in very good form, one or the other. Especially Butler has been outstanding. But this is going to be a test. We've seen Nokia get the better of him in the IPL, and the South African team, with their bowling, they will give England a test. But then English bowling is good as well, and South Africa will have to step up. Quinton de Kock with the bat has to step up. We've seen Bavuma and Miller; these guys do well, but they need a big innings from the top order. Either Quinton de Kock or Van der Dusen. One of these guys need to click, especially at the top. And Hendricks needs to support de Kock, and they need to get off to a start power play, 40 for no loss, 50 for no loss. They need to go on that kind of pace and then take it from there. So South Africa, their weakness is that batting, which England will exploit, but the bowling is so good that England will be tested in this game, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. And it is at Sharjah. It is the later game at Sharjah. So there could be a little bit of a due factor as well. Sharjah just gets a little bit of that. But the earlier game at Abu Dhabi is the game between Australia and West Indies. So all Australians
That's a good
go out
batting
there.
track.
Yeah, go out there. Win
That's
it.
going to suit Australia. That's going to suit
Exactly.
Australia.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi is gonna-
There's a good batting track. Warner Finch, after a good start, I think it'll be good.
But it'll suit West Indies as well if it's a good batting track,
Yeah, that's
because they
true.
have good batters. So it's going to
That's
be a fun
true.
game. But Australia just needs to make sure that they win and just take the equation out of South Africa's hand, because as long as they win, I think they will go through. Unless South Africa beats England by like a humongous margin, which is unlikely because England will take games close even if they lose. So some good, exciting cricket to look forward to tomorrow. You will probably be watching it from your stadium. I will be watching it from my sofa, but it's still the excitement still going to be the same between the both of us, and we'll catch you right after the games.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I'm gonna go, but definitely if I do, it's going to be fun. And we're going to watch the games and hopefully see some tight contests. We haven't seen that. But one thing for sure is that this T20 World Cup, never give up. There's still teams in it. So never give up. Always back your team and enjoy the games.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
Take care.